You've probably heard a ton about AI, but what if it could do more than just chat? Today, we're going to dive into the next massive leap forward, AI agents. And this is a technology that's not just about answering your questions, it's about actually getting things done for you.
And look, this isn't just hype. When the head of AI at a company like Amazon Web Services uses a phrase like tectonic change, you really got to pay attention. This isn't just another small update. They're talking about a fundamental shift in how we're all going to interact with technology.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with this tectonic change. Then we'll get into what an AI agent actually is and how it's different from a chatbot. We'll look under the hood with a real example, talk about the crucial stuff, making them reliable and safe, and finally, we'll peek into the future, where these agents start collaborating.
Okay, so to really get what this is all about, we first have to understand the huge difference between the AI we're mostly used to and this new wave of agentic AI. It really is all about shifting from being a passive information source to an active problem solver.
And this slide just nails the difference. You can think of a chatbot like a really helpful receptionist. They can look up information for you, give you an answer from their system. But an AI agent, that's like a full-on personal assistant. You don't just ask it for a phone number. You give it a goal, and it actually figures out all the steps to make it happen.
So here's the secret sauce, right? The thing that really separates an agent is right here in this definition. It can reason, it can plan, and this is the big one, it can use tools. It can grab a calculator, connect to other software, run code, all to actively complete the task you gave it.
All right, theory is one thing, but the best way to really get this is to see it in action. So let's walk through a real-world example, building a smart banking agent that can figure out complicated fee questions.
So building a basic agent involves 3 core steps. First up, you've got to connect it to the right information. In this case, all those super dense PDF documents about bank fees. Step 2, you give it the tools it needs to work with that data, like a search function and a simple calculator. And then, for the final step, you give it a genuinely tricky problem to solve.
Now just look at this. This is not a simple search query. It's a whole scenario. It requires understanding timing, how account balances change, and finding different fees that are probably buried in different parts of those documents. This is exactly the kind of messy, multi-step, real-world question that agents are designed for.
And here's the really cool part. We get to see how the agent thinks. It doesn't just guess. It breaks the problem down step by step. First, it queries the documents about overdrafts. Then, it looks up the specific fee for a rush replacement card. Then, it finds the stop payment fee. And only then does it use its calculator tool to add it all up and give you a clear, detailed answer.
And the result? It's honestly incredible. You've just turned a pile of static, unreadable PDFs into an intelligent system that can actually reason through a complex scenario, do the math, and then tell you exactly how it got the answer. This is so far beyond what a simple search could ever do.
Okay, but going from a cool demo to something a real business can actually depend on, that is a huge leap. For agents to be used out in the wild, especially by big companies, they have to be rock solid, reliable, and totally safe. So developers don't just build these things and cross their fingers. They measure performance with extreme rigor. They're constantly checking. Are the answers factually correct? Did the agent actually finish the job it was asked to do? How fast was it? And did it get the info it needed without a long, frustrating back and forth?
This right here, this is the bedrock of how they test these things professionally. They build what's called a ground truth dataset. It's basically a giant answer key with test questions and the exact right response for each one. This lets them automatically test the agent against hundreds of scenarios, from simple requests to, making sure the safety guardrails, like blocking investment advice, are working perfectly.
And when it comes to actually rolling this out to customers, they don't just flip a switch. They use this super smart, careful approach. Crawl, walk, run. You start in the crawl phase, where it's only used internally. Then you walk by giving it to a small, trusted group of external users. And only when you're sure it's ready do you run and scale it out to everybody. It's all about safety and building trust.
The big takeaway here is that safety isn't an afterthought. It has to be baked in from the very beginning. This means guardrails to prevent harmful conversations, confirmation steps for big actions like booking a flight, really detailed logs for auditing, and super tight permission controls. This is why it matters, because this is how you build trust with your users.
So we've seen what one agent can do, but the real future, the part that gets super exciting, is when they all start working together.
The goal isn't to build one single all-knowing super AI. No, the future is more like an ecosystem of specialists. Imagine an HR agent, a payroll agent, and a meeting scheduling agent. A supervisor agent could coordinate all of them to handle something complex like onboarding a new employee, with each specialist doing its part perfectly.
But for all these different agents to talk to each other, they need a common language, right? That's where something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes in. You can basically think of it as a universal translator and adapter for AI. It's a standard that lets different agents connect to different tools without needing a ton of custom code every time. It's the technical backbone for this collaborative future.
And that just leaves us with this incredible thought. We've seen how a single agent can turn a dense financial document into an interactive analyst. So, what happens when you have an entire organization of these specialized agents, all communicating, all collaborating, and automating workflows at a scale we've never even imagined before? The potential is just staggering.